Welcome, everybody, to the Keeping Score podcast from the Daily Interlake and Hagedorn Sports Media. I am Josh Amon. This week on the Range Riders Recap, we will discuss the first half of the season and where the Range Riders stand, and can they lock up a playoff spot. Gabe Howell is quickly filling the void left behind by Mason Dinesen's departure and is doing a great job, so without further ado, let's get right into it. The Range Riders continued their 9-game road trip by opening up a 3-game series at Great Falls on Tuesday. It was a rough outing for Colin Kafka as he gave up 6 earned runs and the Range Riders lost 10-5. Gabe Howell homered for the Range Riders, and it was the start of an outstanding week by Howell, with more to come on that later. Game 2 of the series was postponed, and they would play a double-header 7-inning game on Thursday for the 4th of July. In Game 1, the reigning PBL Player of the Week, Christian Kirtley, homered, and the Range Riders took a 5-1 lead heading into the bottom of the 5th. The Voyagers responded with a 3-run home run and a 2-run home run to retake the lead 6-5 heading into the final 2 innings, and that would remain the final score. In Game 2 of the doubleheader, the Range Riders used a patient plate approach, drawing 6 walks and timely hits by Howell and J.D. McLaughlin to propel them to an 8-3 win and salvage a game in the 3-game series. The Range Riders return home on Friday to Glacier Bank Park after being on the road for the last 10 days, and they were going to take on Great Falls yet again for another 3-game set. You can say it was home sweet home for starter Caleb Sophie as he pitched 7 strong innings, allowing 2 runs and struck out 9. One swing in the game was all the difference that the Range Riders need, as Gabe Howell homered for a grand slam to give them a 4-2 lead. Christian Kirtley would tack on a solo shot in the 7th, and the Range Riders won 5-3. Saturday, the Range Riders bats wasted no time, giving plenty of run support to Nick Zenga, who pitched 6 strong innings, only allowing 3 runs. The Range Riders scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings, capped off by a Chad Castillo grand slam this time. Kirtley would add on 2 more in the 4th with the home run, and the Range Riders cruised to a 10-5 victory. That home run by Christian Kirtley made him tied for the franchise lead with 30 career home runs. His next home run would have him in the sole possession of the Range Riders' all-time leader. Sunday was my game of the week as the Range Riders collected their 4th straight win, and they did it in extraordinary fashion. They started off the game collecting 5 straight hits en route to a 5-run first inning. They scored 4 more in the 4th, 3 more in the 5th, before a 6-run 8th inning was the cherry on top. Now, for whatever reason, the Voyagers elected to go with a position player to pitch the bottom of the 8th inning instead of a normal relief pitcher, and the Range Riders made sure they paid. They capped off the 8th inning with 3 home runs, one by A.J. Skupkowski, one by Freddie Guillermo, and one by Andy Atwood, and it led him to an easy 18-7 victory. That'll do it for this week's scoring recap, so let's get into this week's edition of In Case You Missed It. Gabe Howell has been a massive addition for the Range Riders in his return to Glacier. Batting leadoff, he sets the tone early for the team, and in just 13 games so far this season, he already has 5 home runs, 20 RBIs, and 21 runs scored. A big part of Howell wanting to return to the team is the connection he feels to the fans and the Valley area. Let's take a listen on what Howell had to say.
Did the experience you have with the fans here have anything to do with you wanting to come back to competitive ball?
100%, man. Because, there's a decent fan base with the Bananas, but it's not as personal. Like, these guys here in the Valley, I've been here for 3 years. Like, they know me personally. I see these guys, these fans outside of the field in the community, and they're just always been good to me, man. So, made a big impact to why I came back.
Howell's timing is also impeccable as he replaces Mason Dinesen, who recently had his contract purchased by the Chicago White Sox. Howell is now the longest tenured player, replacing a role that Dinesen once held, as Mason Dinesen was also the team leader in average and hits, a role that Gabe Howell took over since rejoining the team. The Range Riders are currently 2nd in the Pioneer League standings with a 2-game lead and 6 remaining in the first half. They control their destiny of clinching a playoff berth if they can continue their winning ways. Missoula has already clinched the top seed, and if the Range Riders can keep their ground in the standings, they will lock up their first ever playoff berth. But players like A.J. Skupkowski remind themselves to not look too far ahead.
You guys have 6 games left in the first half of the season. You guys are locked into that second spot right now. What is your guys' focus going into this big 6-game series to close out the first half, knowing that you could lock in a playoff spot?
Yeah, just taking it one game at a time and taking nothing for granted. I mean, you got to go out there and win every pitch. You can't really worry about next game after that. You kind of got to stay in the moment, stay present.
No doubt this will be a big series for the Range Riders, so let's take a look at my keys to the series. Not only are the Range Riders going on the road for their 3rd series in the last 4, they're facing a Boise Hawks team who has an outside chance to leapfrog them in the standings as they currently sit at 22-20. But the Boise Hawks are unraveling. They've gone 2 of 8 in their last 10, but a big part of that was they were playing top-ranked Missoula, where they dropped 5 out of 6. My first key to the series, finish the job. Glacier is currently riding a 4-game winning streak, and keeping that momentum going on the road will be huge, and finishing the job is my first key to the series. The second key to the series, don't scoreboard watch. Northern Colorado is only 2 games back of the Range Riders, and they have a 6-game home series against the 2nd worst team in the Pioneer League. But much like AJ said, it shouldn't matter. Control what you can control. If the Range Riders play their brand of baseball with timely hits, great defense, and their pitchers throw strikes, they should have no reason why they shouldn't be able to handle business and lock up that playoff spot.
You guys have 6 games left before the first half of the season is over. You're in a prime position right now to lock in a playoff spot for the rest of the year. What is your focus like going into Boise?
We just got to keep doing us, man. Like, if we focus on us, bat the ball, just each pitch at a time, one pitch at a time, and do what we do, then we should have no problem securing that playoff spot.
That's it for this week's edition of the Range Riders Recap. Hopefully this time next week, the fans in the Valley are celebrating the team's first ever playoff berth. It's an exciting time to be a fan of the Range Riders, and hopefully this is just the beginning of a very special year. For the Keeping Score podcast at Daily Interlake and Hagedorn Sports Media, I'm Josh Amick, and until next time, take care.